New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. And hello again, dear ones. There we are. Hello, dear ones. Dr. Robert with you here on a Friday night. It's 5 o'clock on the Mountain Time Zone, and that does mean it is time for the good news. An opportunity to share some good news stories that we hope you'll take out into your world, into your weekend, share with others, sharing the good news all across the planet. For those that tune in regularly, we thank you for your understanding as we were not with you directly last week. At this time, we were in the midst of our birthday celebration, and so we did a good news segment on that broadcast. For those listening on the podcast, the audio podcast, yep, we skipped last week, but we're back and ready for new changes here on the New Thought Media Network. And with the good news, you know, many of you know for the last couple of years now, Reverend Barbara Jean has been our fill-in host. Well, starting next month, Reverend Barbara Jean is going to be our primary host here on the good news. I'm really happy to say that. And I'll be the secondary host, stepping in when she needs a week off for travel or any other major reasons. So thank you again for being with us here tonight, folks, on the good news. Let's dive right on into it. There's a new pope in town, and this all happened rather quickly, as those that may know, when there is a conclave for a new pope, it can often take quite a while. This one happened in just 2 days. Robert Prevost, born in Chicago, served in Peru, and is actually a naturalized citizen of Peru, was named to the papacy, and he chose the name of Leo the 14th. Leo the 13th was known as the Workers' Pope in reference to his 1891 encyclical Rerum Novarum, which outlined the rights of workers to a fair wage, safe working conditions, and the formation of trade unions, while affirming the rights to property and free enterprise. That was all the way back in 1891. That was the last time we had a Pope Leo. So we do anticipate that Pope Leo the 14th will follow in Pope Francis's footsteps, as they were very good buds, as some would say. So good news for all the practicing Catholics in the world. There is a new pope in town. Hey, you know, folks, we get most of our good news stories over at the Good News Network. That's goodnewsnetwork.org. You can check them out. They do a great job of curating good news stories throughout the week. And this next story is one that we found over there. Now, this is one of the larger projects we've reported on. The first of 64 gargantuan wind turbines is up and it's spinning under its own weight in the North Sea, promising the first 15 megawatts of what will become a 1,000-megawatt project, which could power a medium-sized city. One of Germany's largest energy companies and has started this offshore wind farm, and the name of it is It Spins. It's been financed without any government subsidies, and it'll play a key role in helping us to significantly grow our renewable energy output from 6.6 gigawatts to over 10 gigawatts by 2030. That's part of the company's leadership team that made that statement. Believed to be capable of generating up to 980 megawatts of peak power, it will deliver enough energy to power 1.1 million homes, with each turbine being so large that a single spin of their giant blades could power a house for a whole day. Depending on conditions, up to 500 workers across 60 vessels will be out building the wind turbines in their remote spots, dozens of kilometers from land. Foundations for each turbine were already drilled and laid into the seabed last year, and each turbine will have been lifted up vertically with large ship-mounted cranes. We'll keep an eye on that story, let you know how it develops. We love to look at the stories of how we are powering this planet for the humanity in a clean way, removing the need for dirty fuels from our language, from our use, from our planet, and helping to keep the planet healthy for years to come. And I love reporting those stories. And this next one is more of the same. Now, Pittsburgh International Airport, for those that are in the know, I'm not, but for those that have been in the know that PIT is doubling its solar panel count by utilizing an adjacent property that used to be a landfill. Now the landfill is been filled in, and the 12 acres of land will be covered in 4.7 megawatts of solar energy, capable of canceling out 5 million pounds of CO2 emissions that would otherwise be generated from burning fossil fuels. Pittsburgh International already boasts its own 23 megawatt solar and natural gas microgrid. This is an installation which uses solar power to cover the airport's demands and natural gas to make up the difference during peak hours or on cloudy days, in which transfers, or when it says when the sun isn't shining. So I would say that was evenings. And then it transfers the unutilized solar power to local homes and businesses as necessary. The new solar farm on the old landfill will support this mission, leading to fewer cubic meters of gas being burned and more solar power being sent out into the wider neighborhoods. We're maximizing the use of airport assets for the betterment of the region. That's Pittsburgh International CEO Christina Casotis. She says also there's more to come. More in this case means the future site of a mini refinery for sustainable aviation fuel. And they're going to claim the landfill solar farm would be in operation by 2027. This is going to be good stuff, folks. And a model, because I know that I need to find some reporting on Denver International. They've got good-sized solar farms out next to Denver International. You'd see them when you drive in land that was basically barren and abandoned in between roadways, now filled with solar panels. We're going to have to look into that for you as well. All right, let's keep going here on the good news. For the first time ever, scientists have demonstrated that it's possible to send quantum communications using existing commercial telecommunication infrastructure. I have a slight grasp on quantum mechanics, folks, but I get a little lost in the quantum computing field. So now what's going on here is that signals were sent across 150 miles of commercial fiber optic lines in Germany. They made it through 3 different telecom data centers, and the demonstration set a new record distance for real world and practical quantum key distribution. The demonstration reported in a paper in Nature back in April suggested that quantum communications can be achieved in real world conditions and without spending untold billions to revolutionize telecom infrastructure. With all the buzz, potential, and disagreement found in the next wave of advancing technologies, comparable perhaps with AI and nuclear fusion, quantum computing is fast approaching its first deployment challenges. In the United States, IBM has announced the intention to invest 150 billion over the next 5 years in quantum computing infrastructure. The company said this back in April as well. In this previous administration, and in a review from 2024, CNET described the approaching quantum revolution as something akin to a Manhattan Project, a private-public distribution collaboration to create faster internet with unparalleled security. Good news happening in the world of quantum computing. And I trust, folks, maybe someday I will fully understand all that's being shared there. Hey, we need to take a quick break. I need a sip of water. You do too, probably. And we want to let a couple of our sponsors say hello. But I've got more good news stories coming up in just a moment or two. So please stay with us. Don't go away. We'll be right back after these messages.
Welcome to the Convention of the Americas 2025, Rising Together. Join us for a truly bilingual retreat experience on the shores of the beautiful Lake Chapala, Mexico. July 22nd through July 26th, 2025, at the Hotel Villa Monte Carlo in Jalisco, Mexico. Featuring Reverend Jeffrey Ryan, Dr. Jose de Lira Sosa, Reverend Dr. Kathy Ann Lewis, Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse, and Reverend Dr. David Bruner. Registration is now open, and payment plans are available. Simply visit www.conventionoftheamericas.com. Come be part of a transformative gathering with powerful presentations, workshops, networking time, and just good old relaxing and connecting. Plus, you can learn more about the science of mind and how to live this powerful philosophy in your life. Transform your life at Convention of the Americas 2025, Rising Together.
And we're back with more of the good news here on the New Thought Media Network. So grateful that you're joining us on a Friday evening. Before we dive back in, I want to remind everybody, we do get also a number of our stories from over at sunnyskies.com. They share some of the good news in the world as well, and we encourage you to check them out for all the good news they're bringing into the world as well. All right, back into it. We've got a theme going here tonight, folks. Technology and wildlife. And we're going to make that jump here today as scientists have unveiled a new food source designed to sustain honeybee colonies indefinitely without natural pollen. Now, we've been talking for a number of years of the crisis that is unfolding when it comes to honeybees and being able to provide honeybees territory to flourish. Well, researchers from Washington State University and APIX Biosciences in Belgium have done successful trials where nutritionally stressed colonies deployed for commercial crop pollination in Washington State were able to thrive on a new food source. Scientists are saying this resembles a human power bar and contains all the nutrients honeybees need. It's expected to become a potent strategy for combating the rate of colony collapse and safeguarding global farm crops that depend on bee pollination. Placed directly into honeybee colonies where young bees process and distribute the essential nutrients to the larvae and adult bees, the breakthrough addresses the growing challenge of lack of adequate nutrition in their environment. All of this is due to changes in land use, urban expansion, and extreme weather have impacted the nutritional ability or opportunities for honeybees and other pollinators, according to the study. Honeybees are generalists and do not get all their nutrition from a single source. They need a variety in their diet to survive, but find it increasingly difficult to find continuous supply of pollen they need to sustain their colony. Researchers are optimistic in the ability for their power bars to support the honeybees in moving forward. Gotta love it, folks. Let's help the honeybees in all the ways we can, giving them more habitat and giving them something to eat. Together, we're creating a world that works for all life. This includes our honeybees. It also includes the harpy eagle. Now, I didn't know this until today, but the harpy eagle is Latin America's largest eagle, and it's one of the largest in the world. And believed extinct, it's recently been sighted in a rainforest in southern Mexico. Now, named for the crone bird hybrid of Greek mythology, the appearance of this large and majestic raptor is worthy of the association. Adult females are much larger than their male counterparts and weigh up to 20 pounds when measuring with a 6 foot from wingtip to wingtip. It's a pretty hefty looking eagle there in that picture. Despite a significantly slower and lower birth rate than other eagle species, the harpy eagle numbered in the tens of thousands across South America. In Central America, however, they're virtually extinct. Excuse my earlier reference. In Mexico, it's long been thought that they were extinct in Mexico, but dedicated wildlife monitors eventually proved otherwise. In 2011, photographs by a guide from a group of indigenous community members who live near the Chiapas-Guatemala border reignited interest in conservation of land. And for many years, the scientific community considered it extinct in Mexico. If a harpy eagle does exist, they say the population cannot be more than a few. However, because the females only lay eggs every 2 or 3 years. Good work. Good luck. Let's keep the harpy eagles in our thoughts and prayers. And hey, this is like, the cute one. Gotta share this. Also coming from Mexico, a captive breeding program for one of the world's most endangered amphibians has successfully released 18 individuals into a suitable habitat. The scientists behind the project found that all 18 survived after being recaptured and even gained weight and made friends with each other, offering hope that if enough habitat can be found, this wild and weird amphibian will take care of itself. These are becoming a popular pet, and I've seen quite a few of them. The axolotl. I've been practicing that. Let's listen to it one more time. The axolotl was likely already endangered over 300 years ago when the Spanish conquest of the Aztecs concluded, and the lakes which underfed the area now called Mexico City were drained by the conquerors. Those semi-underground lakes were the secret refuge of this bizarre salamander, which today is considered critically endangered. It's a slight exaggeration, though, because of one of the most fascinating species on Earth. The axolotl is found in thousands of aquariums around the world. Like the octopus or platypus, there's just nothing quite an axolotl, which is perhaps why the Aztecs, who nonetheless ate them regularly, considered them an offspring of the fire god. The axolotls are making a comeback to nature and not just pets in aquariums. Again, good news from my perspective, and I just love that we have these good news stories to share. I invite you to take these out into the world and make them and share with your friends. Let your neighbors know. Tell some people where you found it. In the meantime, we're going to take another quick break and let a couple more people say hello. We want to take just a moment also to say thank you to our organizational sponsors and individual donors. Please don't go away. Stay with me. We're coming back after these messages. And as we always do on Friday night, we have our hero of the week. You want to stay tuned for this one. We'll be right back, folks.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living, North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living, Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, dear ones, for being part of the New Thought Media Network. To all of our organizational sponsors and individual donors, it's thanks to your contributions that we're able to share this powerful message of New Thought out into the world. We'd love to keep doing that. We'd love to make you a partner with us as well. If today's the day to become that financial partner, please head on over to newthoughtmedia.org, hit the donate button, or just type in /donate. Make it a monthly donation. Even every $5 counts. Any amount goes a long, long way to supporting the mission of bringing this New Thought message to life around the world. Thank you for being a part of what we're doing. Back into the good news here on a Friday night. You know, folks, we often focus our good news stories in this last segment on the heroes in the world. And sometimes we know who they are and sometimes we don't. And sometimes the story sounds a little familiar. Today, the story comes from Williamstown, West Virginia. And all the years we've been doing this program, the story of a large tip to a server is becoming a little more commonplace, and we like to hear that. It all started as a typical Sunday for Manhattan Deming, who was serving at Da Vinci's in Williamstown, West Virginia. She's been with them since February, so only a few months now. And she had a conversation with a couple that turned a little more personal as far as what's happening. She said she told them about my daughter and how she had goals, and they asked me about those goals. And she, after a warm conversation, the couple left a $2,000 tip. Deming says, it gives me a whole new perspective. They've really inspired me to begin achieving my goals and bettering my daughter and my life. Before joining Da Vinci's, Deming worked as a patient care technician in the labor and delivery unit at a local hospital, but had to leave due to scheduling challenges raising her daughter. Now that, thanks to the incredible gesture, she plans to return to school and pursue her dream of becoming a nurse. Congratulations, dear one. And to that unknown couple, thank you very much for being part of the good news that's happening in the world. Hey, folks, this next story, I'm going to give you a little disclaimer. If you're not big on creepy crawlies and snakes, you might want to tune out for a moment. But this is good news. A revolutionary new antidote neutralizes the venom of 19 of the world's deadliest snakes, including the black mamba, king cobra, and tiger snakes. Researchers used antibodies from a human donor with a hyperimmunity to snake venom to develop the broadly effective anti-venom to date. You might ask how a human becomes hyperimmune to venom. Well, it takes being bitten by a lot of snakes. Antivenom is made not by change. The way antivenom is made has not changed much over the last 100 years. It involves immunizing horses or sheep with venom from a single snake species and then collecting the antibodies produced. And while effective, scientists say the process can result in adverse reaction to non-human antibodies. Well, while exploring ways to improve the process, American researchers came across someone named Tim Freed, who had self-induced a hyperimmunity to himself to the effects of snake neurotoxins. The donor, Tim for a period of nearly 18 years, had undertaken hundreds of bites and self-immunizations with escalating doses from 16 species of lethal snakes that would normally kill a horse, according to Dr. Jacob Glanville, author and CEO of Centrovax, based in California. After Tim agreed to participate in the study, researchers found that by exposing himself to the venom of various snakes over several years, he had generated antibodies that were effective against several snake neurotoxins all at once. What was exciting about the donor was his once-in-a-lifetime unique immune history, said Dr. Glanville. Not only did he potentially create these broadly neutralizing antibodies, it could give rise to a broad spectrum or universal antivenom. All right, that's all I can handle with that story, folks. It's good news. But you might be the type that can handle being bitten by snakes over and over and over again. Thank you, Tim, for your sacrifice to medical science and to creating more good news in the world. Let's go to Oklahoma City before we run out of time here, folks. I want to introduce you to Maggie Eggleston. Maggie is 11 years old and being hailed as a hero after her quick life-saving thinking from her family. She said, "I just heard a loud boom, like a bomb, a really loud bang." And that's her. Mandy quickly ran to check what was happening, and lightning had struck their house. I remember trying to push him out of the house. Mom was a big struggle, Mandy told the local news outlet. In the midst of all the chaos, Mandy remained calm enough to grab her phone and call 911. She later stayed in adult mode at the hospital, responding to calls and texts from concerned loved ones. Family was relieved. The father said, "I could have been killed if I was in the shower." Days after the house was struck and the fire was extinguished, the Eggleston family had an emotional reunion with the firefighters from Station 13. Sounds like an amazing day, and Mandy saved that day. However, that is not all that we have for you today. We've got an even bigger hero in this week's Hero of the Week. From Australia comes the story of a shark attack victim surviving to thank the man who saved her face to face. Blake Donaldson was enjoying a day at the beach in Bunedin, Australia with his partner when he heard a shriek from 30 feet beyond the water's edge. Standing stock still in a pocket of red was 57-year-old Mangoin Zhang, though Donaldson couldn't see it at the time. A bull shark, one of 3 species that account for the majority of serious bites worldwide, had already nibbled about 15 inches of Zhang's leg. And though that would end up being the extent of the damage, she was still scared. That is an understatement. Zhang told 60 Minutes Australia, "I saw lots and lots of blood coming out, and the water just became too red and even redder. I was so scared by then." She didn't want to alert the shark, and so started screaming for help to Donaldson, who was the only other person on the beach. He told reporters that the fight or flight kicks in, and I just made a decision. There could be a shark, but I had to try to save this woman. He succeeded. Once back on shore, Eileen Melcher, Blake's partner, administered first aid. Paramedics would later describe Zhang as having lost a catastrophic amount of blood and did lose consciousness on the way to the hospital, but the bite was not fatal. And Zhang woke up to find out that the surgeons had saved her leg. While it's difficult to know exactly how big the shark must have been from the 15-inch scar, bull sharks have the most bite force in terms of pound per pressure. After a month of recovery, Zhang and Donaldson were able to meet face to face. One is perhaps able to imagine the gratitude of the former when they met. Good news all around. What an amazing story. Thank you, Blake Donaldson, for being a hero in the world. Folks, that's all we've got time for tonight. Thanks again for being with us here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm Dr. Robert. I'm going to get out of here for now, but hey, tune back in just a half an hour. It's Friday Fireside Chat with your own Reverend Michael Mangus. Happens every Friday night here at 6 p.m. on the New Thought Media Network. Join us for that. 8:15 is our evening prayers, and we'll be back tomorrow morning with our Saturday morning conversation series. Tomorrow, Reverend Elzia is going to be talking about physical perfection. I'm Dr. Robert. Until next time, please know that we love you, we think you're amazing, and we want to wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.